Close your eyes for a fraction of a second and listen closely to the heavy, continuous static humming underneath your life. You have filled your notebooks with cosmic terminology, decorated your space with spiritual geometries, and spent thousands of hours whispering positive affirmations into the mirror. You tell yourself you are evolving, that you are on the path, that you understand the shift from the third dimension to the fifth. But let us strip away the comforting illusions tonight. The moment you finish your spiritual rituals and step back into your day, the cold, suffocating gravity of the matrix slams straight back into your bone marrow. The relentless panic of running out of time, the tight knot of financial scarcity in your stomach, and the dull, repetitive numbness of your daily routines still run your nervous system like an iron dictator. You are trapped behind a thick sheet of soundproof glass, screaming for an expanded life, while your actual biology remains completely frozen in place. Why? Because you cannot build a multidimensional reality using a nervous system that is deeply addicted to its own cage. The universe doesn't give a damn about what you desire. It only mirrors what you translate into a baseline frequency. This is not another lecture to analyze. This is a raw, unyielding, subatomic transmission designed to break the invisible grid of your current reality and anchor your physical flesh into the unmistakable feeling of the fifth dimension. To understand why your life continuously plays on a repetitive loop despite your immense spiritual efforts, you must first decipher the invisible architecture of the reality you have normalized. Imagine living your entire existence inside an immense, heavily reinforced house with absolutely no windows. You were born inside this darkness. You have spent decades organizing the furniture, painting the interior walls, and doing everything in your power to make your confinement feel comfortable and luxurious. Because you have never seen anything beyond these boundaries, you believe this structure represents the ultimate limits of creation. What you do not know is that right outside these suffocating walls lies an infinite, hyper-vibrant world pulsing with endless potentiality. That windowless house is the exact energetic blueprint of the third dimension. The third dimension is not a physical location on a map. It is a dense, highly conservative frequency field where human consciousness is systematically trained to operate entirely from survival, scarcity, and separation. In this lower dimensional density, your identity is completely conditional, anchored to your job title, your physical body, your social status, and the continuous evaluation of others. The 3D matrix demands that you live in a constant state of frantic seeking, endlessly asking, what do I have to do? How do I protect what I have? What happens if I lose everything? Even when you attempt to escape this pressure through modern spirituality, your inner frequency often remains tethered to fear. Your soul craves absolute expansion, but your biology is deeply addicted to contraction, forcing you to constantly negotiate with limitation from inside the windowless fortress. The most dangerous trap on the modern evolutionary path is the illusion of intellectual ascension. It is incredibly easy to master the vocabulary of the new age, to speak fluently about quantum mechanics, manifestation, and high vibrational alignment. Your conscious mind is fully capable of dreaming of magnificent free futures, while your physical nervous system remains completely entangled in ancient lower-dimensional survival mechanics. This creates a severe internal frequency split, a chaotic state where your intellect lives in 5D, while your biological body remains completely frozen in 3D survival panic. The quantum field, the intelligent, non-local web of potentiality, is entirely blind to your analytical theories. It reads only the deep, unspoken chemical signatures you secrete on repeat. Look closely at your daily patterns without judgment. Do you still find yourself constantly obsessing over linear timelines, paralyzed by a hidden urgency that you are running out of time, or that your life goals have an expiration date? Do you demand absolute clarity, certainty, and control before making a single move into the unknown?
That is the unmistakable signature of the third dimension, where safety is erroneously placed outside the self, and the unpredictable is feared like literal death. You cannot solve an energetic limitation from within the same frequency system that created it. If the observer collapsing the quantum wave is still operating from a baseline of lack, doubt, or unworthiness, those are the exact realities that will continue to materialize in your physical world, no matter how positive your spoken affirmations appear to be.
The third dimension sustains its absolute control over your life through a ruthless mechanism of repetition, emotional repetition, cognitive repetition, and behavioral repetition. The moment you open your eyes every morning, your brain automatically reaches for the familiar memories and problems of your past. You check your phone, compare your life to an online illusion, react to a stressful message, and instantly recreate your historical emotional baseline within your flesh. Neuroscience reveals that a staggering 95% of the thoughts you think today are the exact same ones that cycled through your brain yesterday. Your physical body becomes completely addicted to this familiar emotional cocktail of stress and worry because it craves predictability above all else. Predictability, however, is the ultimate enemy of presence, and presence is the only portal to the fifth dimension. To break free from this calcified cage, you must execute a radical, uncompromising disruption of this neurological loop. You must step back from the machine of your mind and step into the role of the witness, the detached, conscious observer who watches the ego's automated script play out without offering it a single drop of emotional reaction. This requires taking absolute responsibility for your current vibrational state. You must ruthlessly identify the anxieties and limitations you have normalized as your identity. The precise second you consciously perceive the mechanical loop without reacting to it, you create a profound crack in the lower dimensional frequency grid, and through that single crack, the expansive energy of 5D can finally begin to enter your system. Let us strip away the commercialized buzzwords and look directly at the raw physics of the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is not a distant utopian planet, a passing trend, or a psychological escape hatch from the difficulties of the world. It is a completely distinct frequency of consciousness that already exists right here, right now, layered directly into the very physical space you are occupying in this room. Shifting into 5D does not mean you bypass human pain or ignore the material world. It means you radically illuminate your physical reality from an infinitely deeper subatomic baseline. In 3D, you perceive life as a collection of separate competing objects. In 5D, your nervous system intuitively feels that all life is deeply entangled in an intelligent web of unity. In the fifth dimension, the frantic, desperate need to achieve external outcomes to prove your worth completely evaporates. Your energy rests in the absolute silent knowing of your inherent wholeness. I already am. Time ceases to be a rigid, threatening countdown and becomes completely elastic, stretching, bending, and folding smoothly around your inner vibration. You stop attempting to manifest reality through aggressive physical force, manipulation, or frantic control. Instead, you manifest through pure, effortless resonance. You stop chasing external objects and instead systematically embody the exact subatomic version of yourself that already lives in the reality you desire. Your highest future is not a distant point in time coming toward you. It is a present quantum potential waiting for your baseline frequency to match its code.
To permanently anchor your physical biology into this higher frequency, you must master the precise science of heart-brain coherence. Most human beings live in a state of severe internal fragmentation. Their minds are plotting one path, their hearts are drowning in a different emotion, and their bodies are acting in ways that completely contradict both. This chaotic internal warfare creates massive electromagnetic static, sending a completely disorganized signal out into the quantum field. But when your brain holds a clear, unshakable vision of your expanded future, and your heart simultaneously feels the elevated emotion of that future before it manifests, your entire energetic system becomes perfectly coherent.
The human heart emits an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. When this immense field is fully aligned with a clear mental intention, you cease to be a passive victim reacting to conditions. You become an absolute gravitational center. In the 3D paradigm, your senses demand physical proof before you allow yourself to believe. In the 5D paradigm, you vibrate with the absolute emotional reality of the truth so profoundly that the physical proof is forced to materialize in your outer world. You must train your nervous system to rest in this state of deep gratitude and peace, even while you wait, because the energetic signature of waiting is the actual act of creation. You must become the version of yourself who no longer needs to wait, moving, speaking, loving, and choosing from your highest timeline right now. The final transition from the third dimension to the fifth dimension requires you to cross an absolute, uncompromising threshold of identity. You must entirely abandon the exhausting state of trying to shift and step completely into the permanent reality of being. This is the definitive moment where you surrender your ancient survival-driven addiction to control and trust the infinite intelligence of the field. You stop rehearsing the historical stories of your wounds and limitations, allowing the outdated software of the ego to completely dissolve into irrelevance. Look into the mirror of your consciousness. Strip away your name, your past mistakes, your future anxieties, and your physical limitations. What remains is a luminous, unshakable presence, the eternal observer who creates reality without ever needing to chase it. When you walk into a room from this state of absolute 5D coherence, your subatomic energy speaks with terrifying power, long before your physical voice does. You are no longer an isolated, fragile human being wandering through a hostile universe. You are the infinite universe itself, walking in human form. The loop is permanently broken. The signal is locked. You have finally become the living code of the fifth dimension.
You have spent your entire life running from the dark, clinging desperately to a name and a story that was never truly yours. Now that the portal to absolute zero is open before you, do you have the courage to let the old version of you die completely tonight? Declare your freedom in the comments below. I collapse my new reality. Let this be your formal signature of liberation. Subscribe to this frequency. Leave the old timeline behind and let the matrix rearrange itself around your silence.